Alright y'all, it is freaking finally time to throw these American Racing 1 7/8 long tube headers onto Bludini 2.0. We're actually gonna do this on a lift this time. The last time I did headers on my Mustang, we did it on the ground. I didn't do them, Bryant didn't do them, but another guy did my headers on the ground in his garage, which is doable. But this time, I think we're gonna knock this out. And we got Bryant right here. What's going on? Welcome back.
Sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, about to knock this out.
How long do you think we're gonna take on this?
Oh, last time I did headers on a 5.0, took me like 2 hours, 2 hours and a half.
I was estimating this was, I was like, yo, well, we're gonna take like 4 or 5 hours. Especially if you got a lift, you got all the tools, you got the expertise like Brian. We're gonna get this knocked out of the way, buy back our time here. I can't wait to basically, like I said, throw these headers on the car. And this car is extremely loud right now. It's straight pipe, and with these headers, it has Hi-Flo cats on there, so it's actually gonna tone down the car, give me a little bit more horsepower, but also sound really unique, which I'm excited because I don't know what these American Racing headers is gonna make this car sound like. Got this set up. Brian already got the battery up on out of here. This is the first thing that we did. The second thing to remove is the AC compressor.
Well, when people do it, would be like they'll do battery, they remove this, and then they will remove the AC compressor. Not remove it, but just take off the bolts and move it to the side because of a bolt that you have there. We're at a shop, so what we're gonna do is just take the refrigerant off and disconnect the line. That's gonna make our life easier, and this is gonna make it quicker. But if you're at home, you can just remove the AC compressor and move it off to the side, and then you have access to the bolt. We're just gonna remove the AC, the refrigerant, disconnect the line, and then call it a day. For us, at least.
He got this Wally ass AC refrigerant machine.
It's gonna pull the gases out of the AC, so we can just disconnect the line.
Allowed us easy access to reach that bolt right there and get that nut off.
We removed the air intake. There's gonna be 8 nuts and bolts. We already got one out right here. So 15 millimeter, right?
Yeah. And that one's 15.
13 and a 15 for the motor mounts.
Yeah, 2 13s and 1.
As you can see, he's using a good foot.
I'm gonna add another one too.
So we're raising the car up now. We're gonna work everything else from the bottom. All right, y'all, so by the end of this, I will have this whole thing organized so it gives y'all a little bit of insight of the bolts that we used and the size of everything. Here I got our AC bolts, the caps right here for the AC line. This right here is the bolt for the AC line. There will be lined up 8 nuts for the headers on this side and then 8 nuts for the headers on that side. 2 bolts and 1 nut there. We are using an extensive amount of extensions and swivels to get this job done, along with impact wrenches. So if you have those, it'll be easy going. This bar right here, there's 4 nuts and they're 15 millimeters.
Yeah, just so we can jack this up, because you see how it's in the way?
Yep.
Once we take it off, we can put a piece of wood and something and lift up the engine.
Next, on the right hand side of the car, we're gonna take off the starter. There's 3 bolts, 10 millimeter. That's gonna come off.
I took off the 2 power cables to the starter. One to 10 millimeter and one to 13. The nuts.
Starter's out. One right there for the bolt, one right there for the bolt. And then on the other side, the back side, there's gonna be one right there in that hole. Alright guys, now we're working on the motor mount bracket. There's 4 bolts.
So they're gonna be 13, 13, and there's a 15, and under the 15 is a 13 on the one that you can't see, and this bottom one.
Now as we come over to the left side, we're gonna get the motor mount bracket. I'm gonna zoom in, hold on, really quick. Right here from the left side, 4 bolts off. All right, now that we got the motor mount brackets out, that's gonna allow us easy access here to get to the headers. The header nuts right here, which Brian is ratcheting off.
Depending on what studs come out, we might have to move some to fit the orientation of the headers.
Potentially the steering rack, which is right on over here to the left. Right here, we may have to move that out, but as far as that, now it's easy flowing to get a lot of these nuts out. You guys can't see that nut that just came out, but as you can see, there's a couple of studs still in here, and then there's a couple of studs that are not in here. With the bolt being, or the nut being seized, the stud came out with it.
We're at the point where we got all the bolts out of the header, but now it's hitting the steering shaft. So if you guys can see that red mark, I just marked it.
And this indicates
where we need to put it back on when we put it back on.
Just 1 13 millimeter bolt that's on the back side right there. You guys just seen this just came out.
As you guys see, we're just gonna pry it up on out.
We took the exhaust manifold off of the left side. Now we moved on over to the right side, and Brian's already got that damn near already off. We're down to the last nut. There. This side came off really easy. Basically, yeah, we're about to be right about finished. Took this side off. Progress. Now we got over here the right side coming down and out.
Time for the new one.
Thankfully, when we were done with the headers, I lost the audio, because if we were doing the headers and I lost audio, I didn't even know that whole time, that just would have been, all that info would have went to waste, and the filming would have went to waste. As you guys can see, I missed the startup. I'm gonna do a first startup for y'all. I've already started the car up a couple of times, but first startup for y'all. Let's get it. As we do a wraparound, y'all can hear the car sounds really mild and toned down a lot now. In the front, you can barely hear the exhaust, but we will go on a drive. And I think either show y'all some revs before or after. I'm gonna mount y'all up right there because I gotta get innovative. The installation went smooth, and as y'all know, I had the Cook's 1 7/8 long tube headers on my previous Mustang. Skip the talking, let's get to action. Third gear, drop down. Second, the downshift sounds smooth. Accelerates much smoother than being straight pipe. I feel like when I get into it, the car just wants to go. There's no hesitation. There's a slight hesitation with the straight pipe, but there's like no hesitation with these long tube headers. And essentially that's what you're supposed to feel with the long tube headers. Sound like I have a full exhaust on this car, which damn near I do, and it's not gonna sound like completely straight pipe. Now the car did quiet down a lot more, because now I can actually enjoy this car a lot more while daily driving it, especially on the highway, and not hearing a loud drone. After doing those pulls, I definitely noticed that this car needs fucking brakes, bigger brakes, because these brakes suck. I couldn't even brake after a couple of pulls down the street. It sounds fucking awesome. It's pulling great, it's pulling smooth, but I don't think they sound better than the Cook's long tube headers, to give y'all that. I think my Cook's long 178's long tube headers will definitely take the win. There are some people over here, girl over there got their dog swimming in this big ass lake, tossing like a frisbee out there in the lake, and the dog is going and jumping in and grabbing it. That's pretty dope. Definitely for sure this car will need brakes, especially if we plan on adding more horsepower to this car in the future, which we will. These brakes are not doing it. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below about these American Racing long tube headers. The whole reason why I went straight pipe was because originally I wanted to make the car louder so I can feel good about driving the car. It was too quiet at the time. But then I learned that this car was actually way too loud and annoying. So basically saved up the time and the money to get these American Racing long tube headers, bump up some horsepower. Nextly, we're gonna get into the comp stage 2 cams that I'm gonna install in this car. I was really deciding if I wanted to sell them or not even install them, but simply because I got them for free. So if I do go ahead and install them, I gotta continue with my word, because that is part of the build process. Although the cams, you know, they're a little bit iffy on these cars. Basically, in other people's words, they're not worth it, especially if you're gonna spend all that money, spend the money to get them installed and get a tune. But we're looking at the long-term goals for this car, and I don't think I will be, I'm not even gonna tell you guys because I don't know what will happen this year. But we're just gonna keep that in tune. Make sure you guys also check out in the description if you guys need anything installed on your Mustangs or any other car. Brian, he did an awesome job installing these headers. It actually took about 4 hours for us to install these headers while filming, which is pretty cool, pretty ideal. Now the car is currently full bolt-on E85, which is where we left off with the old Mustang. We're gonna be changing the bumper out to the GT500 bumper really soon. I got that in action, and whole bunch of other stuff in action as well. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the next couple of uploads that we're gonna be coming out with as we go.